Hi, my name is the Lit Wizard, and I have a confession to make. I am a serial series starter, but not finisher. And today I want to talk about 9 series in no particular order that I currently have on the go, and that's not even all of them. Maybe that is something that you can relate to. Maybe you're also somebody who has trouble finishing a series. Maybe you're one of those people who can't relate to this at all and somehow are able to sit down and breathe through an entire series from start to finish. And if you're one of those people, fuck you. No, I'm kidding. If you're one of those people, I envy you and I wish that I was you, but I mean, I just get burned out. I'm afraid if I read 7 books in a series back to back that I'm not going to get the same amount of enjoyment out of it just reading it start to finish. Yes, I really want to know what happens next, but also there's so many different things to read that I find it easier to kind of jump around between series, but that also means that rarely am I ever finishing them. And the first example of that I want to talk about today is, like, yes, it's a series as there are other books, but it's also a trilogy, but it's also just one book depending on who you talk to. And that book is The Lord of the Rings, or yes, series is The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. I've only read part 1, The Fellowship of the Ring, and I only finally finished it for the first time last year. It was a book that I always really struggled to get through, but a book that I really enjoyed this time around. I loved spending time with those characters and going on that journey with them. I really desperately do want to finish it, and I think it might be like a good cozy winter read for this year. If you're a part of the community and that's something you'd like to kind of like read along with me, let me know in our Discord or in the comments below. If you'd like to join the Discord, that's also in what am I trying to say? The description downstairs? The description down there. Feel free to click the link, come join, hang out in our community. Maybe read The Lord of the Rings with me this winter, but I do really want to get to it. Like I said, loved the time that I spent with this book, and I want to finish it. I just had other things that I wanted to read. I was also kind of waiting for my best friend to catch up and read along with me, hoping that we would read book 2. I think she kind of fell off and never quite got to the end of book 1, so I'll probably continue reading it on my own. It's just one of those books that when I spend the time with it, I just want to be in the right mood and I want to be in the right headspace to really fully enjoy the experience of the journey with them. And for that reason, it's on hold, but I will absolutely get back to it. Like I said, none of these are like DNFs, and I'll get back to that when I'm in the right mood for it. The next book on the list, I guess I am going in a particular order. I'm kind of going in order of size of book. I just kind of have them stacked smallest to biggest, so that's the order that we're going in. But the next series that I want to talk about is an absolute favorite series of mine, and that is The Way of Kings, or the Stormlight Archives, I guess, by Brandon Sanderson. I love and adore this series. It's another one where I was so excited to get caught up and read book 5 when it finally came out. I got caught up in a pretty decent amount of time and was ready for book 5 when it finally launched. I picked it up, pre-ordered it, and got 200 pages in and just didn't finish reading it because by the time I got caught up to the Stormlight Archives, I was just kind of done with it for the time being. I wasn't in the mood to jump in and just fully enjoy and spend time with the characters again for a 1,500 page book. It's a big commitment, especially when you're being forced to read it in hardcover and it's 30-40 pounds that you have to hold on to while reading the book. Yeah, I could read it on ebook and I would switch back and forth, but still not the same. I just wanted to be able to fully enjoy it and be in the mood for it. I wasn't yet, and I'm still not. We're coming up on a year since the original first edition of The Wind and Truth came out, and I'm still just not there, I don't think. I heard mixed things about it, and well, it's just not making me excited enough to go back and read it. I will read it, I will finish it. Obviously, you get 4 books into a 5-book series where each book is 1,500 pages, and you gotta see it through, you gotta finish it, and I will do that. Just kind of a matter of when. I don't even think it's gonna be this year, to be honest with you. I may end up waiting for the mass market paperback to come out, which might be a hot take when it comes to books this big, but I enjoy reading these little paperback bricks. I think this is the best format for the Stormlight Archives, and I might just wait for that to fully enjoy it. I don't know, we'll see, but on the same, plane of thought, same realm, same universe while we're talking about the Stormlight Archives, another series that I have yet to finish, which was a favorite series of mine, is Mistborn, also by Brandon Sanderson. And this is one where I read the first 3 books, absolutely love them, recommend them to everyone who's trying to get back into books or trying to get into fantasy, but I've never been able to push myself to get into Era 2. And I think the reason for that is just that Era 2 is so different. It takes place hundreds of years later. It's more Western-y. Westerns have never been my favorite or something that I've been drawn to. I have a general idea of what goes on. I know there's new like metals and stuff and allomancy and continuation of some of the original story and just like building on that world, I guess. That makes sense, world building aspects of it. But I'm just not excited about the concept or the ideas. There's a lot of people I've talked to who think that Era 2 is even better than Era 1. That might be the case. I don't know. It's not like I don't plan to get to it ever. I just haven't gotten to it yet. I will. I hope, maybe. I mean, maybe I won't. I keep saying I will definitely get to this eventually. I don't know. There's constantly new books coming out. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I guess I probably shouldn't promise that. But I liked Mistborn enough that I can definitely see myself getting into Era 2 when the mood strikes for a magical Western, I guess? I don't know. But that might be a good segue, because it has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm about to talk about next, to the next series on my list, which is Hyperion by Dan Simmons. This is another one where like I actually just read this for the first time this year. I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars, and we'll probably talk more about that in my end of year wrap up that I do. But I absolutely loved Hyperion. I loved the story. I loved the way that the story was structured into kind of like 6 different unique parts with different genres almost sprinkled between each part of the book. It left on a bit of a cliffhanger. It didn't really tie up all of the loose ends. So I desperately want to know what happens in book 2 and maybe beyond. I've heard book 2 is kind of like the cutoff and it gets a little bit weird and disjointed after that. But at the very least, I want to read book 2. And I think I'm going to save book 2 for maybe a like middle of next year kind of read where I can, take a year off of Hyperion, come back, finish it, and see if my feelings about the world and the story have changed at all. If you're someone who hasn't read Hyperion before, I definitely recommend doing so. I highly recommend the book. Again, I don't kind of know how book 2 goes, but at the very least, book 1, even as a self-contained story, is awesome. Definitely check it out. Definitely put it on your TBR list. And maybe if you get caught up, we can read book 2 together next year. Now, the 5th series on my list is kind of similar to Mistborn, is that it's kind of broken up into multiple series. I've read the first 3. I enjoyed them. I don't know that I enjoyed it enough to continue. I've had a few people tell me, it picks up, it gets even better again, and kind of like the continuation of the series. But based on how it left off and based on my experience of the 3rd book, I don't know that I care enough to like prioritize it as a read. And I'm talking about Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This is a series where I absolutely loved book 1. I enjoyed book 2. And then book 3 for me just like didn't hit the way that the first 2 did. I ended up giving book 3, I think like a 3.5 stars out of 5. And I don't know, it was not for me. I didn't care for the way that it wrapped up. I don't want to get into spoilers of like book 3 if you haven't gotten there yet, but book 3 is Morningstar, and I guess it just didn't hit. It didn't hit for me the way that it hit for other people. And it didn't make me feel like I need to continue on with the rest of the series over other series that I have on the go that are on this list. Even over other series that I haven't started yet, but would just like to start. I think those also kind of take precedence over continuing Red Rising or continuing Mistborn Era 2. So a bit of a hot take. Overall, like I enjoyed the trilogy. I'd give the whole trilogy, like as a self-contained unit, like a 4 out of 5. But again, I don't know. I think it was fine the way that it was, and I don't feel like I need more of it. The next series that I want to talk about is a genre that I don't think I've really touched on too much on this channel before, and that is a manga series that I have not been able to bring myself to finish, and that series is Attack on Titan. I love this series. I enjoyed it immensely. I flew through the first 31 volumes of Attack on Titan. By the time I started reading it, I was just picking up volume after volume after volume, omnibus after omnibus, so that I could get through the story. And then I got through 31 and I was like, I just don't want it to end. So this is one where I've just been putting off reading the ending of Attack on Titan because I don't want to be done with the story. I'm not someone who typically rereads things. I just really enjoyed my time in this world. I enjoyed my time with the characters. I enjoyed the world building, I enjoyed the storytelling, and I know that if I could knock out these last couple of chapters and volumes in a day or so, and then it's just done. It's just done and it's just over, and I don't get to experience that again. So I desperately do not want it to end. So that's a kind of an outlier here where some of these I stopped reading just because I wanted to move on to other things or I didn't want to burn out. Attack on Titan was the complete opposite for me, where I wouldn't have burned out on it. I wasn't burning out on it. I was flying through the series and all of the different volumes. I just don't want my time with those characters to end. I don't know if that's weird. Let me know in the comments below if you have any books like that yourself, where you've put them on hold just because you don't want to finish the series because then it's over. I don't know if that makes any sense or if I'm a crazy person, but the next book that I want to talk about is another series that I started this year, and that's The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I immediately fell in love with this book, with these characters, with this series. I don't know where Robin Hobb has been all of my life, but all I know is that I wish I had started reading her books sooner. I'm absolutely obsessed. I read this and then immediately picked up and read Royal Assassin, and now I have Assassin's Quest. I picked that up as well. I've just been putting off reading it because we were getting into spooky season, and I know that if I get into Assassin's Quest, I'm going to want to fly through and read more books in the series as well. So this is kind of another one where I didn't necessarily put it on hold because I needed a palate cleanser or I needed a break from the world and characters. I kind of just put it on hold because I felt like if I continued to read it, I was going to just wipe out the rest of my TBR and have nothing to talk about except Robin Hobb and this Farseer trilogy and beyond. Now, I know there are a lot of you who watch my content and are in my community or part of other communities that I'm in as well who really want me to continue with the series, and I want you to know that I hear you. I want to continue the series as well. I will be continuing the series, just not right now. Maybe like post spooky season, I'll get back into this. This and the last one on my list as well are two series that I'm just really want to get back into, but there are other books that I want to read first. The 8th series that I want to talk about is also a new addition to my ongoing series as of last month with our September buddy read, and that's The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. What is the name of this series? I don't even remember. You'd think I would like do my research before starting these videos, but I don't. I just wing them. I know there's like a particular name for this series of books, but we're just gonna go with Rage of Dragons. I know at least book 2 is out. I think we're like waiting on book 3. I really enjoyed this. I felt like it struggled to come up with its own identity in the beginning. It felt a little bit samey, especially with some of these other series that I've been reading. You can definitely tell that Evan Winter is like a big fan of fantasy himself and drew inspiration from a lot of our other favorite series. But by the end of book 1, I really felt like it had its own identity, it had found its own voice, and it set up the rest of the world, I think, really well. And I'm really looking forward to reading book 2. This is one where I'm not going to continue it just yet. I'd like to make sure that the other books come out before I get into it. I don't want to end up in like a Game of Thrones, Name of the Wind kind of situation. I would like to be able to like sit down, I think, and read the rest of this trilogy or whatever you call a series of quadrilogy, I don't know. Whatever you call 4 books in a row. I'm sure there's a word for it that I'm just not thinking of, but I want to be able to just like sit down and read them and know that the series is complete and I can get a satisfying ending. So that is one I will definitely be continuing, just probably not anytime soon. Last but not least, another 5-star read for me and 5-star series that I am so excited to finish reading. I picked up the most recent book from my local bookstore when I was on my work trip in the beginning of the month, I guess, while I was in Toronto. So I picked that up, even though I still have another book to read before I get to that one. And I know there's still an 8th book coming out very soon, and that is Dungeon Crawler Carl, my new absolute favorite series that is currently ongoing. What an absolute blast to read. This was a series where like I put it off for so long because just on paper it didn't sound like something that I was going to enjoy, but boy was I wrong, and I have gotten like so many other people turned on to the series now. We've got buddy reads that are going on with the series in our Discord as well, so we're starting to read those as a group. People are starting to get caught up as we inch towards the end of the series, and maybe we can all read book 8 together. I think that would be really, really dope. But I miss spending time with these characters. I read the first 5 so fast, and it was another one where I knew if I continued to read it that I wasn't going to get to any other books, and I had other stuff that I wanted to read for August, September, October. But I can tell you that my November for sure is going to be a secret read that I have coming up for a very specific video. Dungeon Crawler Carl, finishing the Farseer trilogy, and whatever else I can fit in as well. Maybe I jump into Lord of the Rings. I also want to read, I got the e-arc, the advanced copy of Operation Bounce House, which is the new book by Matt Dinneman. So I may read that in November. It may end up being a December read as well, but I'm excited to check that out and share my thoughts with you on that as well. But that's kind of what my plan is right now. What I'm really excited to get into. Maybe I'll push myself and finish Attack on Titan. I don't know. Let me know if you think that that's something that I should do. But there you have it. Those are 9 of the ongoing series that I have yet to finish. Let me know in the comments below which series you have yet to finish and which of these series you think I should prioritize over others. I also wanted to give a big thank you and a shout out to our Discord community. If that's something you'd like to join, the link is in the description below. We've also recently launched a Patreon. Thank you so much to the Patreons that have already signed up and joined. I want to shout them out here as well. And if you'd like to join that Patreon community and get early access to some of my content as well as exclusive content and behind the scenes content, you can sign up at the link in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. Reading is a treat, and so am I. Goodbye.